Palm Jebel Ali is the #1 topic when it comes to real estate in Dubai. Recently we had the first villa launches on the Palm Jebel Ali, and now we are seeing the first launch of apartments. With a location that is still completely under construction and a master plan not confirmed, it is very much under speculation of how this will turn out and will it perform as well or even better than we've seen for the Palm Jumeirah. In this video, we are going to have a look at their recent launch for their apartments on Palm Jebel Ali, how this compares to Palm Jumeirah, and how it looks as an investment. Should it be something that you get yourself into? So if you've not heard, Palm Jebel Ali is the next palm-shaped island coming up in Dubai. It's essentially a larger version of the Palm Jumeirah, and it was actually launched in the past. So from the early 2000s, there was projects that were meant to go up and infrastructure being put in place for this island. However, in 2009, we had the financial crash, which caused a lot of issues across the world. And for the Palm Jebel Ali, this meant that the developments had to go on hold. Investors were refunded, and because of the scale of the project and still at early points of construction, Nakheel, the master developer, put the project on hold. But now it's back, and in 2024, Nakheel launched its first off-plan project with villas replicating what you would see on the Palm Jumeirah. So why the hype with the Palm Jebel Ali if we've already got the Palm Jumeirah? Well, it's going to be at least double in size. The sources say that it's estimated to be around 14 kilometers squared of land versus 6 to 7 kilometers squared on the Palm Jumeirah. It's going to also have a coastline of 110 kilometers. What people are then looking at is that they're essentially going to have new buildings, new infrastructure, a larger area, so there's going to be more options, and it's still so early to invest here. Right now it's the shape of the palm, however it's got nearly nothing on it, or nothing's completed as such. So it's really early stages here to get into the most hyped real estate project in the world right now. What we've seen for the villas is 5 to 7 bedrooms being launched, and they were relatively cheap versus the Palm Jumeirah. They were around 2.4 thousand dirhams per square foot, and on the Palm Jumeirah, for a comparable villa, you're looking at triple the price. So definitely value there in the villas. If you manage to get a hold of one of them, congratulations, it will be a great purchase going forward. But let's have a look at the apartments. Is this something that you must be getting into yourself or having a look at? Is there the same value as the villas? Let's see. Palm Central Residences will be Nakheel's first launch of apartments on the Palm Jebel Ali. The residences will sit between Fronds M and N, and they will be beachfront, as you can see here. There's only going to be 212 units across 3 buildings, which is relatively low, making it an exclusive launch. The unit types will range from a 1-bedroom all the way up to a 5-bedroom penthouse, and there will be a couple of townhouse options also. The reason that it will be pretty exclusive is due to the plots and the height of the building, so it's basement plus ground plus 6 plus roof. So that's 6 floors essentially. The apartments begin at 2.5 million for the 1-bedrooms, 4.26 million for the 2-bedrooms, 5.22 million for 2-bedroom plus maid, 7.51 for 3-bedrooms, 8.48 for large 3-bedrooms, 12.62 for 4-bedrooms, 17.58 for 5-bedrooms, and lastly 31.81 million for the penthouse. There is limited units for 4-bedroom townhouses that will launch at 14.18 million. All units will be on a 70-30 payment plan and expected to hand over at the end of 2029, with completion date estimated to be August 2029. Something to keep in mind here is that you may want this to hand over earlier, but the reality is if it was to hand over in, let's say, 2027, there wouldn't be a lot of infrastructure around it. You've got to remember that the Palm Jebel Ali is very much at early points of construction, meaning there's not going to be much around for you. So you're better off waiting until the rest of the community and the infrastructure is in place so the apartment is actually livable. You can go to restaurants, there's your amenities there, it has everything that you need for a good lifestyle. Unit sizes are good here. They begin at 737 square foot for the 1-bedroom, which is a decent size for a 1-bedroom, brand new apartment here in Dubai, we tend to see launches a lot smaller than this these days. As the population has been growing so rapidly, developers have been making a lot of smaller units recently. The 2 bedrooms will begin at 1,233 square foot. The project itself, of course, is going to be beachfront luxury residences, so hence the reason for the well-sized units. This means that the project will be launching its properties around 3,400 dirhams per square foot for the units. However, you can expect around 3,500 to up to maybe 4,000 dirhams on average, depending on the floor height, layout, and also the view that you have on the unit. We do imagine that nearly all the units will have a sea view, however, there will be 1 bedrooms with limited view. The project is currently at expression of interest stage, so they are collecting them currently. I would assume that this will have crazy demand due to the only other launches so far being villas, which are high ticket. This is an opportunity to get on the Palm Jebel Ali at a cheaper price point. All that seems great and the project renders look fantastic. However, what can we compare this to as an investment? So we do have the Palm Jumeirah that we can compare it to. Essentially, it's on a smaller scale and nearly the whole community is ready. There's not many plots left to build on. So let's have a look how that has performed, what's available on the market there and the prices versus the Palm Jebel Ali. To begin with, let's have a look at the average price per square foot on the Palm Jumeirah. This sits almost exactly the same as the Palm Central Residences or the apartment launch for the Palm Jebel Ali. Here you can see the graph where it sits at 3,486 dirhams per square foot on the Palm Jumeirah. This is across the whole market on the Palm Jumeirah, so you will have properties that sit a lot higher than this and properties that sit below this. There is a range of buildings, some of them around 15 years old, and then there's other properties that are brand new. You also have luxury villas that are potentially fully renovated. So that's the average across the Palm. To be more specific, let's have a look at a project that is as close to the Palm Central Residences that we can find on the Palm Jumeirah. This would be Ellington Beach House. Ellington is a top quality developer and hands over some really high-end finished products. With this in mind, would still be in the same bracket as Nakheel and how I would anticipate this project in Palm Central Residences to hand over. The reason that this project's a good comparable is, first of all, it has direct beach access. Similar to Palm Central Residences, you can walk out from your apartments onto the beach. Secondly, it's brand new. So this one is only handed over last year, so we can see sort of roughly what the prices would be for a ready beachfront property on the Palm. Currently, the cheapest 1 bedroom available on the market that I can see right now is a property for 4.2 million dirhams for a 1 bedroom. The property is on a lower floor and has no view. To give an idea for what you may be able to expect in terms of rental yield, then the Palm Jumeirah for apartments sits at 5% as an average across the board. So that's the ready project that would be comparable. There is a few off-plan developments going on the Palm, but now there is very limited plots. The last comparable option that I would say that you have would be a project called Paseo by Beyond. Beyond is under the Omniyat group, so it's another high-end developer. Again, it sits on the crescent of the Palm, which is on the outer layer, and it is a beachfront residences. So this is launching 1 bedrooms upward of 4.1 million. It has a similar handover time to the Palm Jebel Ali Palm Central Residences of late 2029. So now we've touched on the data here, let's put that into comparables. So this means that the Palm Jebel Ali or the Palm Central Residences is launching its project around 75% cheaper than what is available on the Palm Jumeirah. Right away, you would assume that this is then an excellent investment, but there is a few factors to weigh up here. Don't forget that the Palm Jumeirah property, if you were to buy it ready on, let's say, Ellington Beach House, is that you will have 4 years worth of rental yield. So let's say at 5%, then you're talking 20% of the property price will be recouped in those 4 years as you'll be able to rent the property out. Secondly, we don't know exactly how it will appreciate in the Palm Jebel Ali, whereas the Palm Jumeirah, we understand, will appreciate around 15% per year, which is what we can see from other developments here. This is an example from the Golden Mile. You can see that the growth has been very steady and averages around 15%. So if it was to do that for 4 years, you're looking at 60% appreciation and then another 20% in rental yield. So a total return on investment of 80% on the Palm, which is super attractive. One point to note is I don't believe the Palm Jumeirah will appreciate quite as much as it has in the past now, because we do have the Palm Jebel Ali coming up, and you also have Dubai Islands, which is another beachfront community, giving more options to the market and maybe slightly less demand for the ready community of the Palm Jumeirah. So to give you an idea then, for the Palm Central residences to be worthwhile, then we would need the property to hit around 4.5 million to give a similar return on investment. With that being said, my conclusion on the Palm Central residences launch would be that there is definitely value here. Personally, I would be expecting it to comfortably exceed 4 million to get in line with what's ready on the Palm Jumeirah. Due to this being the first launch and it having brand new amenities and infrastructure in the future, it will be super demanded on handover, and it will give you the same lifestyle that the Palm Jumeirah will, but on a brand new larger scale. The investment is 4 years away, and we are very much in early stages of understanding what the Palm Jebel Ali will look like. However, if it is to live up to its expectations, which we typically see happen in Dubai, then I could see this investment being towards 5 to 6 million on handover. What we need to keep in mind is that not only will you have the Palm Jebel Ali coming up, then only around 15 to 20 minutes away, you will have the brand new airport of Al Maktoum, which is going to bring a lot of demand towards this side of the city. The only concern for me here on the Palm Jebel Ali is we don't quite understand how many properties there's going to be on the island yet. If they flood the supply here and the demand does not live up to it, then the prices will not hit the marks that we can expect. So Dubai will need to continue to grow its population to really keep up with the size and scale that's projected for the Palm Jebel Ali. Lastly, from the numbers, we can see that buying a ready property in the Palm Jumeirah is still a great investment. However, if you are buying off plan, I would say that the Palm Jebel Ali will have a lot more upside than you can expect for the Palm Jumeirah. So off plan, Palm Jebel Ali. For ready property, of course, you've only got the option of Palm Jumeirah, but you can see that this is still performing well. Hopefully this video has given you a greater understanding of this first launch of apartments that we've seen from Nakheel on the Palm Jebel Ali and how it compares to the Palm Jumeirah currently. If you'd like to discuss this project further or any other property in Dubai, then click the link below to book in for a call with myself. Alternatively, click the video above for more content.